Greetings, everyone, from the sound of my voice. Welcome Saturday morning vibes with Mikey Jiggs. It's one of those mornings when I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling fresh, I'm feeling like I want to talk to my people. You know, lots of things going on, a lot of things happening over the last week. I wasn't here last week because I had some technical difficulties before and we tried to sort them out. But here I am today, just saying hi, hello, and welcome to all my peoples everywhere. All right, so what we're going to talk about today, you know, very important thing happening in Jamaica. Jamaica turned 60 this year. And what I wanted to do was just kind of go about it by having a conversation about independence and independent, okay? Being independent and independence. And I just want to just give you a brief analysis that I put together, basically. This year, Jamaica will celebrate its 60th anniversary of its independence from England. As a constituent province of the West Indies Federation, Jamaica became independent of the United Kingdom on the 6th of August 1962 under the Jamaican Independence Act of 1962. Under the West Indian Act of 1962, the monarchy of the United Kingdom was allowed to form governments for the former colonies of the West Indies Federation. Elizabeth II, by and with the advice of her Privy Council, issued the Jamaica Order of Council 1962, which formally gave force and effect to the Constitution. Jamaica's current constitution was drafted in 62 by a bipartisan joint committee of the Jamaican legislature. It came into force with the Jamaican Independence Act of 62, which was passed by the Parliament of the United Kingdom, which gave Jamaica independence. Though a small nation, Jamaican culture has a strong global presence. The musical genes, reggae, ska, mento, rocksteady, dub, and more recently dancehall and raga all originated from the island. Vibrant popular recording industry. Sports is an integral part of national life in Jamaica, and the island athletes tend to perform to a standard well above what might ordinarily be unexpected in a small country such as ours. While most popular sport in Jamaica is cricket, on the international stage, Jamaicans have extended to a particular place in track and field. The emancipation of slaves heralded the establishment of the educational system for the masses in Jamaica. Prior to the emancipation, there were few schools for educating locals, and many sent their children off to England for quality education. The emancipation of the West Indies Commission granted a sum of money to establish elementary schools in Jamaica, and they are now known as all-age schools. All of that changed after a while, though. Most of the schools in Jamaica were established by churches. When Jamaica gained independence in 1962, the murder rate was 3.9% to 100,000 people. By 2009, the rate was 62% to 100,000 inhabitants. And it's now the highest, one of the highest in the world. That is significant. What I want to say is happy birthday, Jamaica. Happy anniversary, more strength, more understanding, and I wish for much peace. These are my wishes, not only for the island, but for every community within the sound of my voice. So, today my question is, what is independence? What does it mean to you? Because to me, independence is freedom to choose, speak, movement, think, live, earn, strive, help, love, care for whomever I choose, and to be free from indoctrination. It was Mahatma Gandhi who said, I want freedom for the full expression of my personality. I want to. So, My main topic today is independence and what it truly means. All right, so we're going to talk about that a little bit, right? And then later on in the program, I'll be joined by my brethren, Malachi Smith, who has a great thing going on. And then I'll also talk about what's going to be happening in our community in Jamaica, in particular in Central Village, where I grew up, right? But it's a nationwide thing where people will be celebrating independence. All right. So let me just delve into my main topic really today. Independent. Are you really in it? I would say yes, in a sense. You know, on a personal level though, are you really independent, right? Because you have to think about some things. Are you free to do what you want to do when you want to do it, right? And I'm talking about independence in the sense that you must be free to do those things, but there's certain kind of responsibility that comes with that also, right? So Jamaica is independent, but there's also certain responsibilities that comes with being independent as a nation, right? And so the protection of the people of Jamaica is important. And that is a part of independence, right? Because you know now, Jamaica is now 60, right? So we have grown up. I am older than Jamaica as a country, right? So I gained certain kind of experience from the fact that I'm grown up now, right? And Jamaica now at 60, right? Maybe it's a time now for reflection and to look at some things that we have allowed to kind of slip by the wayside, right? We have to talk about unity, and we have to talk about a lot of little things that's involved in that. So as we grow up, we have to think about the things that kind of keep us from moving forward, because great things happening, as I keep saying, but there's some things that are still hindering us. And the thing that most affects me and affects a lot of people is the crime and the violence in Jamaica, right? So because that affects me so much, most of the time we really talk about it, all right? But as we grow up now and we're 60, what I would like to say to people in Jamaica is, how are we gonna fix that? We can't depend only in government to do it. We have to think about our community. How are we gonna fix that, right? We have gone into a place where a lot of what's going on now is not just killing because they want to kill people, but retaliation for something that had happened in the past. How do we as a people get around that and move above that so that we can do things differently? How can we reach across borders which we have created for ourselves, right? But as independent thinkers, right? Can we, as independent thinkers, right, decide that no, we don't want to live like how we're living right now. We want to be able to walk wherever we want to walk, right? So what we're going to do about those things, you know, what are we going to do about those things now, right? Do we have to form groups that go across the street to say to somebody, hey, we really don't want to be living like this, so how can we make things better? Or do we need somebody to mediate and go over there and say, hey, let's live together, right? But it's not only that, because your enemy or your so-called enemy or the things that you form is not really across the street anymore. It's right there next door to you. So what I'm understanding now is that the top of one lane that was a peaceful thing where everybody could walk free, you know, is not like that anymore. And this is not just in my community, it's all in communities all over the world, right? So how does the top of the road and the middle of the road and the bottom of the road become one? How are we going to do that? Okay, it comes with a sense of responsibility. It comes with something called community that I've been talking about for 2 weeks. It means that we have to do certain things. We have to think about pride. We have to exercise that, and we have to be proud of where we're from, all right, too, and how we, if we want to have a better life, have to do something about what our present circumstances and situations are. Although we are independent, right, in Jamaica, in a sense, majority of people still live in poverty. Well, what's poverty? Is it the mind? Is it just in the mind? It's not, because you can see it. Basic food, right? Because we stopped growing for ourselves, we stopped producing for ourselves. So we have to depend on it to come from outside, right? So it's expensive. If we were producing it at home, it would be a little bit cheaper and more affordable. Not cheaper, but more affordable, right? Clothing. We want foreign clothes, we want Versace and all of those things. But what if we were able to produce those at home? Don't you think that it was possible that Versace would want to, collaborate with us back home to produce some things in Jamaica? Right? We want foreign clothes, but we have all of the facilities, our capacity to do that also in Jamaica. Right? There's responsibilities that come with that. And independence means that we have to look at those things that we can do for ourselves. I'm not saying that we need to cut ourselves off from the world, because we can't do that. We are an international community, right? And the world is moving together as one now. But you have to still secure your corner in the world, on the globe. Your space is gonna be important, right? Politics comes into all of these things when where you align also dictate our country norms, right? But we don't have to be aligned, because there was a time in Jamaica where being aligned to a particular thing was probably detrimental to our health, right? And so we know what that alignment means. But you know what? Sometimes we can't just swim in oceans by ourselves and not taking sides of certain things. It's unbelievable and unreasonable to think that we can be that way. All right? There are different places that will offer us things in a certain way. And sometimes we have to think about it, having it on our terms. Independence means that we have to be able to dictate our terms also. All right? And there are times too when we have to hold out for the betterment of our people. Right? Not just to let some people eat all the time and some people not eat. Because as I take it right back to the community, you gotta look. If only a few people in my community eating or have food every night, those people who don't have food is gonna try to get food. All right, and the way they will try to get food may not be the way that the powers that be wants them to get food. All right, I'm not going to preach socialism. All I'm saying is that everybody needs an opportunity, and independence means opportunities for everyone, right? Leveling the playing field and creating opportunities for everyone. We all go to school in Jamaica. Right? You have a right to go to school. There was a time when you couldn't, but now you have freedom to go to school. The schools, which was a protective environment, has deteriorated into a less protective environment. And so we're educated also through the Jamaica school system. Once upon a time, everybody couldn't go to college, but now you have freedom to go to college, right? Wherever you are. But one of the things, though, that independent responsibilities that we have as an independent nation is also how we educate the people and what we do with them after they're educated. Is the education system currently in Jamaica too limited? Does it need to be broader? Are we still learning trades? Are we supposed to be still learning trades? There's some things that don't change. Houses have to still be built. Cars still have to be repaired. You still have to maintain certain things. You still have to build roads, right? Those things. So therefore, we can educate people to do other things, But we still gonna need people to do trades. We're still gonna need people to plant and do agriculture and all this things. All right. Lots of us like to talk about Marcus Garvey, and I'm not going to make him the central part of the conversation today because that's for another program and that's a bigger thing. But we like to quote Marcus Garvey, and we like to talk about what Garvey said. But do we ever think that we do not really practice what Garvey said? You know, just think about self-sufficient, being self-sufficient in certain things. Even if you preach that, we talk about it and just give voice to it, but we don't do anything at all about it. Me included. You understand? At certain points, all of us can be the employers, right? And some of us have to work for somebody, right? And I take that. But more of us should be self-employed, not just for self, but for generations, right? For generations, building wealth in a sense, but also building the capacity to support a system that is now independent and 60 years old. We do not only need to look outside, we also need to look within. Right? We have products that on the world stage is worth gazillion dollars. Our music, for one, our athletes, two, our environment. You understand? Based on where Jamaica is located, I don't know what created that, but if you believe in God, you can say God dropped us at that little spot right here. So, based on where the country is located, it gives us some advantages, which we should, I'm going to use this word exploit to our own benefit as an independent nation. All right, tourism is the biggest thing in Jamaica. That's where money comes from, right? But how much of that we own? We, Jamaica, own. What we should be doing is saying to people, hey, you can build this in Jamaica, but we have to have a portion of it. A part of it has to be ours. We must own a percentage of all of those things that are built in Jamaica. All right? We can invite you here and you come here and you do your business, but we need a little portion of that. Personally, I don't know how much of that is going on, but I think that that's a position as an independent nation we should be negotiating from, because that income that comes from that will be there to help people. Okay? More and more and more people. Okay? The crime rate in Jamaica, I think, is driven a little bit by the fact that people are not fully employed, or that the opportunities to make your life better is not there. Right? You go to school, you graduate. Lots of guys went to school and graduate and had nothing else to do, so they turn to other things, right? We don't make guns in Jamaica, but you get them every day, right? So you have to turn to other things to do other things, okay? And so what I would say is that as an independent country, we need to think about it, and we also need, as we think about those things, to think about our personal independence, our personal freedom. Okay, so we need to and come right back to talk about some of the things that's happening in Jamaica as we move together as an independent nation. 2.